Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, and that whenever and wherever you happen to be on the matrix, that you are able to acknowledge all the wonderful things that have taken place in the past week with the efforts that hopefully all of us have made for our own little part in the Black Lives Matter movement. Governments around the world have started to basically acknowledge their errors in allowing certain statues or names to be put up. They're starting to realize, oh, maybe that does make Black people feel uncomfortable. To have, to be able to go to a park and have a wonderful day is one thing, but then to walk next to a statue that reminds you of the Confederacy, that can't happen anymore. This is done. It's done. We have to get rid of all those statues, and thank God they're all coming down. In some cases, it's the protesters who've been pulling the statues down, and in some cases, it's the governments who have decided enough is enough. We're taking down the names of streets that acknowledge Confederate soldiers and politicians. In Bristol, the people took down the statue of a slave trader who was overlooking the harbor where slaves were brought into England. Good. Let this slimy bastard sleep with the fishes and be slimed by the fishes. No one needs that crap anymore. Just, that's it. Dump it in the ocean. Not that I'm saying good for pollution. No. Don't pollute. Give a hoot. Don't pollute. But I'm kind of thrilled about this, honestly. I think that there's a lot more work that needs to be done. There's a lot more work in the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, it can't just be lip service of, yeah, we're planning on defunding the police. No, they have to be defunded. Done. Sorry. You don't get military gear to use against your own people anymore. Sorry. It's not enough to say we will educate and inform our officers. No, sorry. If an officer has ever had a history of violent behavior towards the citizens, especially if they're Black, that person needs to lose his job. And I don't mean retire early and get a paycheck. He needs to lose his job and go to jail, and I think make reparations. Either pay your debt to society or pay a debt to the person that you hurt. That for me would be a start. But I think it's important that, especially if you've done anything, whether it's march, speak out, publish on social media things that would raise people's consciousness, donate money, donate your time, volunteer. I mean, there's a lady making sweet potato pies, and she's selling them, and she's sold them in many different cities. She goes and she'll set up shop and she'll sell the sweet potato pies, and they're sweet potato comfort pies. She just wants to bring comfort to people who are protesting such hard things to think about and acknowledge. And, working towards this change. And so she's going around, I don't think she's even selling them. I think she's actually giving them to people who are protesting. She's doing this out of the love and goodness of her heart. And I just think that's so sweet. People like this need to be acknowledged. There are people who are bringing medical supplies for free to the protesters. You're bringing milk to put in to people's eyes after they've been pepper sprayed. They're bringing bandages to help people, and hydrogen peroxide, people that get hurt in the protests. That's awesome. But this work that has been done for now nearly 2 weeks, I guess it's been about 2 weeks, right? So all the people who have been doing this hard work, out protesting, out doing whatever, to promote the idea, the very simple and obvious idea that Black lives do matter. The work is paying off. Military bases that have names of Confederate soldiers are actually going to be changed. Congress has passed already. I think it's the Republicans that said yes to this. That it's time. The Democrats have raised the red flag, as it were, saying we need to get rid of all of the Confederate statues in Washington, while the Republicans are saying, let's rename every base that's named after a Confederate soldier, and within 3 years they will all have been renamed. Arkansas, the state of Arkansas, has decided to take down any and all things related to the Confederacy, and they're going to put up statues of Black rights activists and journalists, and also a statue of Johnny Cash. I think that's awesome. They're going to put up new statues of people who have mattered to the world, who have done things that are good for Black people and for natives, and that's awesome. In Boston, they decapitated a Christopher Columbus statue. Good. That jerk has no right to have statues anywhere. It makes me angry. Ever since I was a kid, I hate seeing anything about him. And to see statues up, and then even to have a Columbus Day every year. My dad's birthday was on October 12th, and God rest his soul. And that was, he always said, yeah, I was born on Columbus Day. And in the beginning, he was just like, yeah, I was born on Columbus Day. And then towards the end of his life, he's like, yeah, I'm not really thrilled I was born on Columbus Day, or that there even was a Columbus Day. And a lot of us are still trying to educate ourselves on what is racism, even the more subtle parts of racism, and how were we raised to be racist without even knowing it. I know that I was raised in a household where racism was kind of a part of my everyday life, unfortunately. I never took it up as ideology. I never, anytime my dad said anything or my stepmom said anything, I would have to speak up. I always had to speak up. It always bothered me. This group of people, these people are lazy. This group of people, these people are thieves. These people over here, they do drugs, whatever, fill in the blank, right? Or don't. That's the kind of stuff I was raised with, around. And the difference between a this and a that, on and on and on with the jokes my whole life. That was what I was raised around. A lot of Polish jokes for some reason. It's like, why are we picking on the Polish people? Why? I don't even get that. But it sucks to be singled out based on the color of your skin or the color of your hair. Blonde jokes. This stuff isn't cool. It's just not fun. A lot of times in my life I was singled out for being a redhead, and always embarrassed the hell out of me. Sometimes it was good and sometimes it wasn't good, Some of it was weird, like ooh, redheads are sexy, Okay, yeah, we are, but, it's weird to be singled out for that one thing. Why don't you look at me and go, huh, you're really smart, you're sexy for your mind, Did you hear about the sexy genius? Yeah, there's never been a joke that started off like this. His mind was so hot. No, I've never heard a joke like that. But let's take a moment, take a beat, and we know we have to still fight the good fight and get this world in top-notch shape so that we can all rise up to the fifth dimension collectively. A lot of people aren't gonna, though. A lot of people, they're gonna just hop off this time and they're gonna go off to another world that looks so much like this one. They won't even know the difference, and then they'll end up eventually going to the Stone Age, and 26,000 years later they'll be given the opportunity once more to ascend or go back to the Stone Age again for 26,000 years. Sucks. Why would you ever even pick that? That is like the worst option. This is the worst option. Jane, stop this crazy thing called life. If you guys saw that movie, you know what movie I'm talking about. I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done, but this is the time that we need to acknowledge the good that is already starting to come out of this. The Confederate flag has been taken down. It's no longer welcome. It has been banned from NASCAR. Wow. Thank God. Blew my mind. The Confederate flag has been banned in the military, in the Navy and the Marines. It's all happening. It's all happening. Finally. The end of the 400 years. Was it Genesis 15:13, I think, or 13:15? The other day I saw a meme on this. I did mention it this week. Saying that, hey, basically, your people are going to be brought to an alien land in which they will be oppressed and made as slaves for 400 years. There's some prophecy in the Old Testament. Totally freaky. The end of the 400 years is actually now, since slavery in the United States happened and around the world. I thought that was kind of a dark secret that happened in the United States only. Traveling throughout South America, I've seen evidence of it here too. And then I've watched movies that point it out that this also happened in England as well and around the world. And I was ignorant because I wasn't taught about world history of slavery when I was growing up. They only mentioned it in American history. So this is something that's been a dark shadow part of our world everywhere. I think I mentioned yesterday about the renaming of certain products, cheeses and cookies and crackers and crisps that are in like Australia. I think in England too. I think there was some. And they're like, oh wow. Huh. The name of this is racist. Go figure. Wow. We need to change that now. It's like suddenly everyone's waking up going, ooh, no, that's not right. Let's clean up that mess. Ooh, we're sorry. There are some TV shows that had Cops, I think, that's being stopped. Cops, the TV show. Bad Boys, what you gonna do? Not bat, but bad. Sorry. Bad Boys. That would be hilarious. I'd rather watch Bat Boy have a TV show than Cops. But, anyway, I love Bat Boy. Bat Boy's hilarious. Anyway, I'm happy, man. There's a lot of things are happening. Like, people that have put out racist stuff are losing their jobs. People have put out racist tweets or have said things or have done racist art or whatever. Everything is changing. Let's keep going. Let's make the world better. Anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for doing all the things you have done in the past 2 weeks. I'm sure a lot of you have done stuff to acknowledge that Black lives do matter. Indigenous lives do matter, and Asian lives do matter. Let's start with making Black people feel safe, and then we can help everybody else feel safe. Indigenous people, Latino people, everyone. But it's cool. I mean, there are a lot of educational websites to help you in case you were raised in a racist household, and you can start to realize all your ideas, thoughts, even sayings and phrases and words that you didn't even consider where it came from. There's been a lot of that. I've noticed a lot of memes or a lot of people mentioning this on social media lately this week. Like, it's cool. I'm glad that we're all waking up. We're enlightening ourselves. We're becoming enlightened. It's wonderful. Illumined. Someday we'll all be illumined masters together. For those of you that prayed for Casper the Rooster yesterday, that was announced that Casper wasn't feeling too good, and his mommy, Michelle, was very worried about him. And so I sent a lot of love and light his way and her way as well, and hooked them up to the healing grid, and I sent them Reiki energy, and they both are feeling good again. And he actually went out with her on her morning run. How cute is that? Can you imagine? People usually have a dog on their morning run. I can't even imagine having a rooster run with you. That's hilarious. This morning I opened up my windows, and my son says to me, "Don't come downstairs. I'm making hot sauce." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "That's it. Today's the day I'm going to make my hot sauce. I'm going to try to sell some." And I gave him some money to go down and get a scale. He was washing his scale, and I guess it fell into some water and it stopped working. He's like, "Man." So I gave money to go buy another scale, because he makes his recipes according to how many grams. I mean, my old-fashioned method of cooking, where you just like level off a tablespoon and hope for the best, is not good enough for my scientific child. So he has to have a scale. It has to be right exactly to the smidgen. Okay, smidgen, that's not scientific. Right to the milligram, okay. Milliliter, whatever. So he fermented these hot peppers. A couple weeks ago he did this, and then he tried it, and oh my God, the hot sauce was incredible. So he did it again. He said, "That's it. I'm going to start selling it." And the first time he did this a couple weeks ago, he gave little tiny samples in plastic bags to people. And now he went downtown. He bought all these jars. He started his hot sauce business. But I started to get up this morning. He says, "Don't come downstairs. I don't want you breathing on my food. We have to make it perfect, and it's got to be clean." I'm like, yeah, okay, I agree with that. And the whole first floor felt like walking into a cloud of pepper spray, so there's no way I was going to go down there. So I sat up in my room, I opened up my windows. I'm still feeling the pepper. I'm on the third floor, and it's still up here too. It's strong, but it's really good. Fermented hot sauce is very healthy for your gut. It's got lactobacillus acidophilus like yogurt, but it's vegan because it's made only from the peppers. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, I sat up here and I was looking out the window at the river. I had the window open. I could hear the river. The plastics factory And the still factory was shut down for the day, thank God. I just sat here and watched the river and just watched all the pretty butterflies. I saw orange and yellow and white butterflies today, and I saw dragonflies today. And all of a sudden I saw these weird black figures down on the river. I'm like, what the hell is that? What is that? Like, at first I thought it was a person, like the shadow of a person, like a little kid or something, because it was sizable, but it was like a block away, and I'm trying to make it out. Like, what is that? I thought it was like a person wearing like black sweatpants and a black hoodie, right? At first. And then it separated. I'm like, wait, that's not a person. It separated out, and I realized it was 4 big black chickens, and they're black. They're like really beautiful, but in the shadows of the trees, it just looked like a shadow of a person. I couldn't tell. So these 4 black hens come out, and then followed by the most gorgeous, enormous, I think it's a bantam rooster, and the kind with a tail that's like, they have green and possibly blue in their feathers, and also that shocking orange and red and a little bit of kind of a golden yellow. And then the front part of his chest was black, but the back, like, he has a very foo-foo tail. A beautiful, enormous rooster. And he was there with his ladies. The stud of the barnyard, right? He's there with his ladies, and he was making sure they're safe and kind of corralling them and making sure they got the good worms. And I was watching him as he let them drink out of the water, but he had to go down there first. He followed them to make sure they're okay. Then he went ahead of them as the gentleman, right? And he's like making sure they're okay. And then, okay, he had to drink the water first. All right, it's good today. Then he let the ladies drink. It was so cute. But they were all very, very healthy. Enormous chickens. Enormous rooster. I was like, wow. But I saw that. I'm like, I thought of Casper. I don't know what kind of rooster he is, but I'm like, well, that must be a good sign, because this big, beautiful, healthy rooster, oh, he was beautiful. I hope that no one ever eats him. Usually people get upset at the roosters crowing so loud so early in the morning, so they just kind of, all right, I'm hungry for chicken. The rooster's got to go. And that's usually what happens. When I was in Guatemala, that's what happened. I had a rooster that came, and he would look in my window and he would scream, like every frickin' day. And then I'd look at the window. I'm like, what are you doing? And then he would just like, make a sound again. Then he would, if I try to fall back asleep, he would wake me up. He was so cute, and I loved him so much. And he's such a pain in the butt, but he just wanted to hang out with me. And he would come and look at me, and like if I'd be reading a book or whatever, he would just be hanging out with me. And one day I didn't see him anywhere, and I thought, well, he's off somewhere. It'll be okay. And then the people who ran the hostel invited us for dinner, and we were eating chicken. And they were like, the rooster won't be bothering you anymore. I'm like, oh my God. They knew he was bothering me. And I even said, God, he's so loud. But I never would have complained if I would have known he would have ended up being my dinner, right? He was tasty, but boy, I felt kind of guilty about that one. Poor guy. But that's just the way life is, man. That's the way it is. But this rooster today that I saw was so beautiful. He was so good at guarding the hens and being so gentlemanly. And he was enormous. He looked huge, and this was like a block away. And he looked like he was maybe 2 feet tall. I mean, he was a big rooster. And I mean, when you look at old-fashioned rooster art or chicken art, I guess they call it country folk art. My mom used to have pictures of roosters that she had her kitchen decorated with rooster stuff for a while. And it's like the traditional rooster that they make into art with all the beautiful colors. That was what I saw. I've never in my life seen one of those kinds of roosters ever. I was like, wow, he's really beautiful. What a beautiful bird. So anyway, Casper is feeling better. Liz keeps sending love and light to him and his mom, Michelle, because that's like her best friend. He's like a really cool rooster, so hopefully he'll be good. He'll be feeling good in no time. And yeah, there you go. Trying to think if there's any other announcements or anything before we get into it with our normal thing. I don't think there's anything. I hope you guys enjoyed the Persian folktales last night, those stories. I was hoping I had enough time. There was like one more folktale which is really long, and then 10 different creatures that are in Persian mythology. I think we only got through 2. There was still 8. So maybe we'll do another Persian night of Persian things, because I don't know about you guys, but I found it very, very fascinating. But maybe we'll do a bunch of other cultures first and, talk about... Oh my God. I have no idea what that was. I'm on the 3rd floor and something just landed on my ceiling. That's really creepy. I'm like really creeped out. I'm moving away from the window that just something landed. It's probably freaking Mothman or something. What the hell? Like, you guys, I'm like seriously spooked. It's only, and now people are writing me, great. It's only 9:14 at night, but, oh, very nice. They just added me to the list of food people. There's a group chat on WhatsApp, and if one person spots a truck selling vegetables or eggs or yogurt or fruit or meat, fish, whatever. And there's a lot of fish farms around here, so if you want good fresh tilapia, there's like the farmers will bring you the fish that they caught that day. And they just added me. That's what that was. Yay. So excited. I love living here in this little sweet Adela. It's like a little tiny, it's like a city within a city, and it's like a gated community, but I think we might be the only Americans here, actually. The only English-speaking people. I mean, English is a first language, although a lot of people do speak English here as a second language, so it's really cool. People here are really cool. So we're like, yay. And she'd forgotten, and earlier Juanita, my neighbor, says, I'm going to add you to this list because, I saw her walking. She had these massive things of eggs, like 36 eggs for $3, laid by the hens on the farm just today. So, and the people came around going, look, here, we got all the eggs. And everyone here, and I didn't have the money, and I was just like, at the moment, to go get it, and I'm like, ugh. I didn't feel comfortable leaving the house, so I didn't go. And I found out that the government was supposed to bring me my Wi-Fi and install it this week. Today was the end of the week, and they didn't do it. We finally heard from them, and they said, well, we decided that you need to have a bank account in Ecuador or a credit card to pay for it, that no one's allowed to pay in person any longer because of COVID-19. We want to be safer. And the person who's helping me get this, who helped me get this apartment or this house, he said he had to fight and yell at them. He was really mad. He's like, you signed a contract with her, and now you're saying she has to have a bank account, but she's not an Ecuadorian citizen. And I'm not even a permanent resident. You have to be a permanent resident to have a bank account here. I'm like, yeah, plus it's ridiculous for me to go get money out of the bank and to go down and start a new bank account. I mean, it's going to cost me like $40 just to get money out of the bank and take a taxi just to start a new bank account so they could take money out of my bank account every month. It's like super ridiculous. But yeah, maybe I will. I don't know if I'll even do that or not, but so they singled me out and they said, okay, so no one's allowed to do this anymore to pay, but after this guy was yelling, I guess I get to sign a form on Monday, take an extra trip downtown, sign a form saying that I will come and pay them every month in cash because they had a contract with me and they were trying to break their contract. So I will get internet next week. Oh my God, one more week. It's been 5 weeks waiting for this. Maybe it hasn't. I guess Monday will be my 4th week here. So I guess about almost 5 weeks though. So I have to go sign a form saying that I get to be singled out and I get to pay in person at a special office that normally you don't pay internet at. It's like, I don't know why this is so hard. It's so crazy. It's like I want to start my other, I want to get a job teaching English and doing that in the mornings. And then, of course, keeping Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast, alive in the afternoons and evenings. Just making a show for you guys 5 days a week. I still want to do that. But I also want to teach English, just so I have to have a steady income to prove to the government here that I've got a steady income. Oh my God. Unbelievably wild, this move. 7 planets in retrograde this month. I'm going to try to talk about it next week. Mercury goes retrograde. I don't even know what day. I think it's soon though. Maybe it's today, actually. I think it's today. It goes, and then that's like for 2 or 3 weeks, plus a shadow period. I've been meaning to start that TESOL certification for a while, so if I start it now, it's still going to be okay. But I can't start it on my tablet, because I need my laptop to do it. But all these weird delays with stuff. Are you guys experiencing weird delays with various things? I think it's just the energy of the cosmos. It's like, I even got an email today from tarot.com saying there's a cloud of confusion around the world today, this week. And it's going to get worse with all these planets in retrograde. 7 planets in retrograde. Nuts. It's just crazy. Anyway, I'm going to get into it, guys. I'm going to talk about, I get my glasses on here. I'm going to talk about the space weather first. Here we go. So the solar wind speed right now is 323.2 kilometers per second. Quite a bit lowered since yesterday. There's more on the noctilucent clouds in case you're excited about these glowing clouds in the upper atmosphere that are seeded by meteoroids. So strange. Also eerie and beautiful. They do have a lot of information on this website about it in case you're interested. The Oulu neutron counts coming out of the University of Oulu, Finland. I mean, that's not the original name of it or the official name of it, but that's where it is. They are saying that we're at 10.6% of the space age average. We're at very, very high rates. So we're getting bombarded by a lot of cosmic radiation. Of course, the crack in the magnetosphere has not been repaired, so we're going to continue getting this this radiation. I have a feeling that it is fixing us and changing us in new and different ways, and it's part of the ascension, I have a feeling. But it still is talking about the corona hole that the solar wind flowed out of. It'll be hitting us the 13th and 14th. That's like tomorrow and the next day. It's going to be a fun weekend. Unless today's the 12th. Okay. There was something else. Oh yeah, the sunspots. They're saying that not a lot's going on with the sunspot today, so we're okay with that. It's still there, but the activity that was there, it's calmed down quite a bit. As far as the All-Sky Fireball Network and NASA's All-Sky cameras, they have scanned the skies above the United States for the meteoritic fireballs. And there were 12 fireballs on the 12th today. 11 of them were sporadic, and one of them was a daytime Arietid. I have no idea what that means. I've never even heard of that word, Arietid. But I think it's a meteor shower that might be starting soon. And I think we'll probably know more about that next week, if that's what that is. Power 29 is what they say on disclosurenews.it as far as the Schumann Resonance is concerned. So it's not terribly high. So let's go over to heartmath.org. We don't have information from today, but we do have information. Of course, the website screwed up again. I had it all queued up, but I waited too long. I had to redo I keep getting messages. My son's hot sauce is a hit. He started his business today. And all these people were writing, going, we're right outside your door. We're trying to get the hot sauce. And he sold 8 balls of hot sauce in like an hour in 10 minutes. His hot sauce is incredible, though. It's this bright orange. It's so beautiful, fermented, vegan, healthy, amazing stuff. But everyone's going crazy for it. They're like, oh my God, this hot sauce. So I had to keep starting over. All right, here we go. Now we're 2 days behind as far as the heartmath.org website is concerned. I don't know why. They changed over to a new server and suddenly we don't have live updates and we don't have updates from today. But the closest to today that we have is 2 days ago. So Wednesday, June 10th at the 2300 hour. So practically Thursday, practically yesterday. And we know where we were on the Schumann Resonance in Italy that day. I think was around 60 or 62 hertz frequency. But right now, what it says for Wednesday at least, on the Heart Math Institute website, this is the numbers we've got. California was at 125 hertz frequency. Hafuf, Saudi Arabia remains at 0 hertz frequency. Lithuania was at 321 hertz frequency. Again, this is the Schumann Resonance scale. So remember, 40 hertz frequency is the 5th dimension. So Lithuania was at 321. And Alberta, Canada was at 212 hertz frequency. And Northland, New Zealand was at 76 hertz frequency. And last but not least, Hulului, South Africa was at 236 hertz frequency on the Schumann Resonance scale. So there we go. Now, I'd like to encourage you guys to visit the Foundation for Inner Peace website because there's a lot of stuff that, even though I'm reading to you the lessons of A Course in Miracles, I'm not reading to you the things between the lessons. And I'm on lesson 311 today for us. And you have to understand that right before this lesson was a big page full of awesome information about what the judgment, the final day of judgment, really and truly is. Because a lot of us are very afraid of what that day, that final judgment day is going to be. Because religion has scared our pants off. Maybe that's not what I wanted to say, but it's scary, right? It's been scary for us, is what I mean. And, it's just like, wait till Judgment Day. God's really going to get you then. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I did. My stepmom always got me with the Judgment Day. You're going to have to answer to God in the end, she used to say to me. Like, what the hell did I do? I didn't dry a fork right, and now I have to answer to God about that? I mean, God's that damn petty. I mean, she would take the most... Like, if I didn't fold a pair of pants right, and the crease wasn't quite right, I mean, I was 8 years old. I mean, God, what do you want from me, right? 8 years old, and she used to use the wrath of God on Judgment Day to try to get me to fold her frickin' pants right. Is that... I mean, totally stupid. I probably a reason I'm not Christian now and not at all religious, because this stuff seems so crazy and arbitrary. Like, I don't think God's that damn petty. I just don't really think that's true. Anyway, so I wanted you guys to read that. I mean, it's pretty interesting. It's right before lesson 311. It's the page right before, and there's a lot of stuff in between. So this is the Foundation for Inner Peace website, acim.org. You can go ahead and read the lessons for yourself on any application. There's a lot of apps out there, so you just pick the one you like with the prettiest colors, maybe with the highest rating that's free. They're always free if you want to read the lessons for yourself. Let me see how much I've got here. Yeah, we got time. All right, so we're on lesson 311. I judge all things as I would have them be. I judge all things as I would have them be. Judgment was made to be a weapon used against the truth. It separates what it is being used against and sets it off as if it were a thing apart. And then it makes of it what you think, what you would have it be. And then it makes of it what you would have it be. It judges what it cannot understand because it cannot see totality and therefore judges falsely. Let us not use it today, but make a gift of it to him who has a different use for it. He will relieve us of the agony of all the judgments we have made against ourselves and reestablish peace of mind by giving us God's judgment of his Son. Father, we wait with open mind today to hear your judgment of the Son you love. We do not know him and we cannot judge. And so we let your love decide what he whom you created as your Son must be. I judge all things as I would have them be. Again, that's lesson 311 in acim.org in a course in miracles. So there you have it. I'm going to take a quick break, guys. When I come back, we are going to go over the Earth Changes report as well as any weird or odd news. And I think I'm going to go to Coast to Coast AM because they had some really strange things that they talked about today, as well as, during the rest of the week as well. So we're going to see what kind of weird stuff we can scare up. And I'm going to go downstairs and ask my son what he thinks this thing is that landed on the roof above my skylight, above my bed. I hope to God it's not Mothra or a vampire or something. I don't know. There are vampire bats out here, and I just realized we're across the river, directly across the river from cows, and vampire bats do like to suck the blood of cows. My son's already been bitten by 2 vampire bats on 2 separate occasions. One more bite, according to the legends, and he'll be a vampire himself. Oh, good God, there'll be no living with him then. He'll be up at all hours of the day and night. No, just the night. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break on that crazy idea. And when I come back, we're going to get into the Earth Changes report and see who it is we need to pray for this week. Do we need to send sunshine to anybody? I'm guessing probably yes. We'll find out right after this message. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
We can make a difference in our own small way.
Just one small change, we can do that today. Our mind's getting bigger while the world's getting smaller.
But saving the earth's becoming a tall order.
From the minute you wake from your nightly nap,
You can make little changes like turning off the tap.
while brushing your teeth in the bathroom.
You can cycle or walk your way to the classroom.
Cut down the fuel you used to get to school.
Pull in, let's cancel.
In your lunchbox, cut down the plastic. See, these things aren't too drastic. Spread the word, get vocal.
Make it go global.
When buying food, stay local.
Never mind the dishwasher, do it by hand. But I hate washing up.
Ah, come on, it's grand.
Just one small change in the little things we do. We'll show you how, and now it's up to you. It's our future.
It's our earth.
We need to protect it for what it's worth. It's our future.
It's our earth.
We need to protect it for what it's worth. Since we found out the earth was sick,
We knew we had to do something quick. The earth is our family and our friend.
we need to mend it before it ends.
This is our home, so don't destroy it. Everyone should do their bit. Ice caps melting, seas getting high. Homes will be flooded. Polar bears will die. The sun's getting hotter, the rain won't fall. I'm afraid we won't survive at all. Recycle the plastic, please, it's free.
You don't want that ending up in the sea. It's like people use this planet as a bin. Pick up your trash, that's where you begin.
Temperature is rising, we are realizing. We must act now, there's no compromising.
Just one small change in the little things we do. We'll show you how, and now it's up to you. It's our future.
It's our earth.
We need to protect it for what it's worth. It's our future.
It's our earth.
We need to protect it for what it's worth. If you cut down flowers and trees, you contribute to the mass extinction of the bees. Think of the creatures that don't have a say.
There has to be a better way.
There's no higher being to save the earth. We've got to do something before we get hurt.
At school, we know what to do.
But my question is, do you?
Just one small change in the little things we do.
We'll show you how, and now it's up to you. It's our future.
It's our earth.
We need to protect it for what it's worth. It's our future.
It's our earth.
We need to protect it for what it's worth.
Just one small change in the little things we do.
We'll show you how, and now it's up to you. It's our future.
It's our earth.
We need to protect it for what it's worth. It's our future.
It's our earth.
We need to protect it for what it's worth.
All right, guys, so in continuing with all this Mercury Retrograde crap, I tried to record the second half of the show about 2 hours ago, and it's like I had to shut the app off, turn it back on. That went on about 10 or 15 times, and shut the tablet off, turn it back on. finally had to delete the app and reload it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I was trying to, yesterday, I was trying to get to the websites that I normally visit to do the introduction. And I forgot to mention this yesterday. Remember the day before, or a couple days ago, when I was, I think, abducted for 8 hours. And my tablet had been shut off. It was down to 0 when I woke up. And when I came, the next day I went to do the thing, and all those tabs had been gone. They've been on my tablet whether I turned it on or off for months. And all of a sudden, all the tabs were gone. It was absolutely 0, no tabs at all. And so I had to add them back again. And I forgot to mention that yesterday, you guys, not only were my tabs there that I had just added back in, but all the other tabs that had disappeared were suddenly there. So I had double, everything was double, space weather was from a few days ago and also yesterday. And Schumann Resonance from a couple days ago and then also yesterday. So everything came back, but it took 2 days. I don't know what that means, but there's just some crazy electronic anomalies going on, and I think it's the shadow period of Mercury Retrograde, although I think it just started. But this whole past week has been shadow period stuff, so I wanted to mention it in the event that you guys are having issues with anything related to Mercury Retrograde, travel, making plans, things not going according to communications with people, not understanding them, or it's just we're stuck for a minute. For a few weeks we're stuck. I was reading a bunch of stuff about this period of bunch of retrogrades, and somebody was saying that it's probably just a good idea to put everything off until mid-July. Maybe the first week of July, I think is what it said. So we're going to try to go over this stuff next week, but I wanted to mention it because, as a Virgo, I'm constantly affected by Mercury Retrograde, and if you're a Gemini, you'd also be affected by Mercury Retrograde. But it's okay to try to call people or write to them or whatever, but expect that maybe it won't work. Earlier today, somebody called me and my phone wouldn't pick up. And then somebody immediately, within a few minutes, somebody else called me. Now, I never get calls, ever. As soon as it's Mercury Retrograde, that's when I get all the calls. What? And then somebody else tried to call me, and mid-sentence, it just shut off. The WhatsApp just shut off. It's okay. And other people, they were in the middle of conversating with me, just suddenly stopped writing back. And I don't mean friends. I don't mean, when someone likes you and then they ghost on you suddenly. I don't mean that. I mean a business call. I was trying to set up try to figure out when am I going to get my internet. And Rodrigo, the contract specialist, was trying to get me to understand what was going on with that. And in the middle of a sentence, and then he never called me back. It's okay. And then 20 minutes later, he started writing to me, and the same thing. He just kind of stopped conversating in the middle, and that was it. So I wonder if his phone didn't shut off or something. But that's the kind of stuff that's been going on. It's been crazy with that. Okay, let's get into it because we have a few things to cover, and then we'll get into weird and odd news. But let's first go to worldometers.info. Man, I am just, it's my whole house has been pepper sprayed. Oh, my son's hot pepper sauce is amazing, but boy, it's like it sparks. I don't know if you guys have ever had peppers or any kind of spicy food at all, and you notice that your nose starts to run, and all of a sudden it's like you have allergies. It's because it sparks your histamines. It has histamines in it. And what is Benadryl but an antihistamine? When you have allergies, you take antihistamines. So eating spicy foods actually sparks the same thing in your body as allergies does. So forgive me for all the sound. It's just because of all the hot pepper, spicy stuff I've got in the air here. All right, coronavirus cases total is 7.7 million, 32,952. And deaths from coronavirus is 428,248. So just under, well, not just under, but we'll say just over 400,000. Recovered is almost 4 million. Fully recovered. So that's nothing to sneeze at. Now, only 2% are in serious or critical condition of the current active cases. I don't know. I guess it means like 8% take a turn for the worst, I guess. But anyway, in the closed cases, we have cases with an outcome. 4.3,084,547 have an outcome. Out of those, only 10% have died. That's 428,000 deaths, which I already mentioned. So I don't know how that compares with the world flu, but I think that the flu was obviously less than that. Now, as far as the United States is concerned, there have been over 2.1 million cases so far, and 825 deaths. 116,825 deaths. So, recovered in the U.S., 841,934. It's crazy though, right? This is, let's see. It's in 213 countries because I believe in New Zealand they no longer have active cases. We might have mentioned that the other day. Brazil has the second highest number of cases with 829,902. So almost 830,000. And let's see. In Mexico, there's over 5,000 cases that are brand new. And 504 people died in Mexico today. That's pretty crazy. But anyway, only 11 new in China. Or China, when they were the big numbers, they had the big numbers, but the U.S. is the one that has the most numbers now. I know that in Ecuador, they just were not testing here like we should be. It says we only have 45,778 cases, and 3,800 deaths, but I'm pretty sure that's more like 6,800 deaths. So there's 3,000 people in the streets, like dead bodies in the streets that they couldn't pick up. No one knew what to do with their loved ones. They were just leaving them outside because, it starts to smell after a few days. So anyway, it's kind of gross, right? And sad because, people usually want to bury their loved ones and have a celebration of their life kind of ceremony, and things just got really messed up really quickly. But Peru would have 220,000 cases, but only 6,300 deaths. I have a feeling that we're about the same as them. Death is, as far as how many people have died so far. Anyway, there it is. I mean, the top 3 with the most coronavirus cases: USA, Brazil, and Russia so far. So there you have it for that. I'm not going to really go over any more corona stuff, but just so we know what's going on, I guess we should send some love and light to the people that have it now. But 10% is, for 10% dying of this when before it was 21%. I don't know what happened, but I guess the most recent mutation mutated in a different way. I don't know. Maybe people are taking more precautionary measures with their health. If they do get it, maybe they're exercising more or doing more echinacea golden seal. I don't know. Maybe they're taking more herbs. Who knows? But anyway, it's good. It's good news, isn't it? That less people are going from it. All right, so we're going to Watchers.news next, and I'm just gonna read some of the highlights of what's going on. I had all the articles loaded, and now I have to load them again. There we go. So we're going to start with June 9th because that's about where we left off last time. So this is pretty sad right off the bat. Sydney, Australia's coastal ecosystems have suffered a once-in-a-generation mass mortality event. So I'm going to go there and see what that has to say, what this article has to say. So, basically, it's the ecosystems on the wide stretch of coastline in Sydney have been devastated in recent months by a combination of the bushfire debris, drought, and the severe storms. Researchers for the Abyss Project, a scientific group of divers, described this as potentially the worst mass mortality event in decades, because there was a dry spell followed by fires and then storms, and it was just a once-in-generation event, they said. So basically, invertebrate species deep down as far as 26 feet have appeared to be greatly affected by a series of changes in the quality of the water and the conditions. The worst affected species have ranged from soldier crabs to sea urchins, soft sponges, and coral-like bryozoa invertebrates. The salinity has increased, so there's more salt in the salt water in the shallow estuaries as freshwater inflows dropped with the dry period. And then the bushfires brought additional phosphorus and nitrogen to the mix, including from the fire retardants, which stimulated the cyanobacteria growth. So the severe storms gave the final blow for much of the aquatic life, and they say basically any area that's 26 feet deeper than 26 feet, are pretty much continuing unaffected. So that's pretty crazy, right? I had no idea that was going to happen. I mean, when we heard about the fires, I was just worried about the kangaroos and the koala bears and all the life on the surface of the land. I didn't consider in the ocean what would happen. So, pretty nuts. I'm waiting for the articles to load. Okay, here we go. Now the next story is anomalous. I can't even say this. Anomalously. There we go. It's like Ross on Friends saying Mississippi-lessly. Oh my God, I still can't say it. Anomalously cold temperatures and summer snow have hit Nevada, Montana, Idaho, Utah, and Colorado. So it's a little bit out of season. I mean, the last snowfall should have hit like Northern California gets. They get hit sometimes in May with snow, but usually by this time of year, there's nothing. So that is an anomaly. So I don't know. I guess we'll send some love towards Australia in Sydney's coastline. And we'll send some sunshine to Nevada, Montana, Idaho, Utah, and Colorado in the United States. So this next article is really sad. It's about the Edenville Dam collapse in Michigan. So the aftermath of that, 10,000 people that were living in the towns of Edenville, Sanford, and Midland in central Michigan were forced to evacuate after days of very heavy rainfall that caused the catastrophic failure of both the Edenville as well as the Sanford dams. So the river crested at a record 35.05 feet and broke their previous record of 33.89 feet set in 1986. So they're not used to this much rain there. That's crazy. And they say, oh wow, the National Weather Service issued flash flood emergencies along the entire Tittabawassee River in Midland County on the 20th of May with downstream effects expected from Midland to Saginaw. My kids and I lived in Saginaw. That's where I broke my leg. Actually, it was in Saginaw right before I moved to Detroit. Anyway, they say this was the second time in 24 hours people were prompted to flee. That's crazy. There's a lot of videos either on Watchers.news or you could go to YouTube and check it out if you're interested. It's like pretty crazy. They're saying that the Wixom Lake had been rapidly rising due to heavy rainfall. The dam could not hold back the water. The side of the dam failed, sending water rushing towards Sanford Village. The aftermath and damage left behind have been devastating. So, yeah, this is crazy. I guess we'll send some love and light over to Michigan in the middle part, the central part of Michigan. Sunshine, too. Looks like they could use some sunshine. All right, now I'm trying to wait for this page to load again. All right, the next story is regarding Ecuador, where I live. An eruption of Sangay volcano has produced pyroclastic flows and has covered several provinces in ash. And that's in Ecuador. Now, where I live, it's particulate matter in the air. I've had, if you've noticed for the past 3 days, I've had hard time breathing, asthma. I'm wheezing while I'm talking. Even now, it's usually after I take my inhaler when I do the show, and there's nothing I could do about it because I've already taken my inhaler. But the volcano ash in Guayaquil, now you recall the city named Guayaquil, that is where all the bodies were in, what I just was mentioning earlier, like 3,000 dead left in the streets because they didn't know what to do with it. Well, how to dispose of the body. So, that's Guayaquil. Now they're covered in so much ash from Sangay, which shot up plumes and plumes of ash over 23,000 feet above sea level. And there's like massive lava flowing down the sides, and still, like today, it's probably still going on today. It's been several days already. And this is a 14,000-year-old volcano, so. And Sangay, I've told you guys before, it means the giver in Quechua. So, I don't know, it gives people a lot of ash, which is good. I mean, it's good for plants. It's not good for breathing, though. But, I mean, it looks like snow. Covered everybody's cars and the streets. It looks like it's a couple inches of snow, and it's in fact ash. So pretty crazy story there. Let's see here. All right. So the next one this is a really scary one, guys. And for Ecuador, I mean, it's going to happen. I don't even know to send us love and light, I suppose. So the next place we go is the whole wide world. The world is now on the brink of its worst food crisis in 50 years, according to the United Nations. So, I mean, we've had, besides the coronavirus, we've had, murder hornets are killing bees. And that's how we get our honey and pollinate a lot of our plants. So there's things like that starting to happen. My son had a murder hornet on his leg a few days ago. He went to the top of a mountain, and he was just sitting there enjoying the view, and he looked down and he saw this big black hornet. It was sitting on his leg, and it was curling its tail under, getting ready to sting him. And he was like, nope, not today. And he slapped it away. And he said he never ran so fast down a mountain in his life. He said it was pretty scary. So, murder hornets, man. So we have that, with the devastating of the bee populations. And we also have locusts have gone through and eaten everything in sight in many of the Middle Eastern countries as well as Africa. And I think parts of Asia had the locusts as well. And then as soon as things started to grow back and they thought, well, thank God, we finally have food again, it's almost here, another swarm of locusts came and ate all that too. So if I didn't know better, I'd say God was teasing us all. But no, it's not. God has nothing to do with it. It's one part nature and 2 parts karma, probably. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It might be humans' mindsets. You just never know this stuff until you know. Anyway, so the world is on the brink of the worst food crisis in 50 years. This is according to the United Nations. So, what was the other thing they said in the article? I read the article earlier, and they were saying that the farmers are not able to work because of coronavirus, and people aren't allowed to go to work, and so all the food is just rotting in the fields. And people that need the produce or whatever, they can't really get it because now it's gone bad, because there's no workers to work it, and the farmers have no choice legally but to just let it die, letting fruit and vegetables wither on the vine, as it were. So it's like really scary. I hope that a lot of this starts to go back to normal, whatever normal is, but we'll see. Severe thunderstorms have left a trail of destruction across the Midwest and the Northeast in the United States. 600,000 people were left without power. So I guess let's just send sunshine there too, right? More than 2.6 million people have been affected by deadly floods and also mudslides in southern and central China. Man, let's send them some love and light and sunshine. And nearly 2 months worth of rain happened in just 4 hours and inundated, basically flooded, Ajaccio, Corsica. So let's send them some sunshine. Severe weather has damaged camps hosting 140,000 people in Burkina Faso and Nigeria. So let's send them some love and sunshine as well. So that's it. That's not a lot of news, but what is there is very devastating. So that's it. Crazy stuff, right? All right. So now we have a little bit of time. I'm going to go to coasttocoastam.com, and we're going going to read a couple headlines. If it looks really interesting, I'll read the article. But you could pretty much just extrapolate from the headlines what exactly happened, right? So, now, there's a new study that suggests that Mars once had a ring around it. It's an intriguing new study concerning Mars's moon, Deimos. It suggests that the red planet was once encircled by a ring. So that's pretty crazy. If you wanted to see that footage of a massive landslide sweeping a whole Norwegian neighborhood into the sea, that is on YouTube, but it's also on Coast to Coast AM. It's very interesting and also really, really scary to watch. So, I mean, you watch that and all you could think of is, thank God I didn't live there when that happened, you know. So send some love and light to Norwegian people, especially on the coast that are scared right now for their homes, etc., being swept away, basically. So a famed breatharian yogi, he passed away today. An Indian yogi who found fame by the way of his claims that he had lived nearly his entire life without consuming any food or water, has reportedly passed away at the age of 90. So really makes you rethink what you're eating, right? Or why we're spending so much money on food. And it's possible to just be breatharian. That's kind of crazy, right? So, let's see. A curious piece of footage out of New Jersey shows a puzzling trio of mysterious lights hovering in the night sky, and some observers suspect that they might belong to a triangular UFO. Well, that's what it looks like to me in this picture. You could see this at coasttocoastam.com. So, let's see. There was a UFO sighting and video taken in Agoura Hills, California. If you wanted to check that out. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 2008, so someone had sent it in. Sorry, it's old news. So I thought, someone else had sent in something about 2008, about the same thing, from the same area. So I think there's multiple witnesses. It's funny, one of them came by 12 years later. But, alright, let's see. Okay, you guys, the Finn treasure has been found. Forrest Fenn, actually Fenn, F-E-N-N. He was an eccentric millionaire, and about 10 years ago thought he was in bad health and he was going to die, so he decided to bury his treasure. And all he left behind was a treasure map and a poem for anybody who was interested in finding it. And I know my oldest kid, that was burning a hole in her mind just thinking about that treasure out there all alone in the wilderness without her to love it. It was filled with jewels and gold, and whoever finds it will never want for anything again, basically. And I don't know, someone found it. It's pretty cool. So congratulations to that. They found the treasure, took a picture of it, sent it to Fenn himself, where he said, yes, you found the treasure. Good job. And he gets to keep it. It's like $2.5 million worth of gold jewelry. I mean, not gold jewelry, I'm sorry, gold coins. So, there you go. I'm having this cosmic nap energy again that started happening about 2 hours ago, so I feel like I'm nodding off in the middle of a sentence. If this happens to you guys, it's definitely an ascension symptom. So, in a bizarre story coming out of Belgium, a beleaguered man claims that some nefarious individual has been ordering countless pizzas to his home for the last 9 years. Can you imagine the pizza delivery boy showing up to your house 3 or 4 or 5 times a night. That's crazy, right? I should have said man there, delivery man. I guess it is called a delivery man. It just seems like people use boy a lot more, like a delivery boy. Yeah, we got to stay woke, man, even in sexism against males, right? All right, so let's see. Now, there's some weird UFOs that have been filmed from an airliner. And it says a puzzling piece of footage circulating online appears to show a pair of weird-looking UFOs lingering in the sky next to an airliner. Wow, it's very weird. They look like sperm. Is this what they mean by panspermia? Like something is happening. These are very weird. I don't know. They also look like commas, like from a typewriter, like, commas, like kind of a bulbish-ish end and then a tail. A very weird picture. I can't even explain it. Not even a little bit. I'm sure as hell certain they're not Palladian, though. I've seen Palladian ships. That's not it. So, the repeating first radio burst follows an odd pattern. Astronomers have found a new clue in the quest to solve the riddle of fast radio bursts, or FRBs, in the form of a repeating pulse which boasts a curious pattern. Alright, I'm not going to go more into that because it feels like it might be too technical for me to handle right now. If you want to read it, though, go to coasttocoastam.com by all means. Here's the next story. Shark's scars suggest a battle with a giant squid. Well, that's interesting. That's like one for the ages, right? Probably people have talked about this, maybe 200 years ago. All right, here it is. Here's a scenario. A fight between a shark and a giant squid. Go. You got 30 seconds. Today we say, Batman versus Superman or whatever. But back in the day, I guess the big thing was giant squids battling sharks. So, a distinct pattern of scars spotted on the back of a shark. Photographs swimming off the coast of Hawaii suggest that the creature had been battling with a giant squid. Very, very crazy. Now, Bigfoot dens have been found in New York. Supposedly, they didn't find any Bigfoot yet, but in an intriguing case out of New York's Hudson Valley, some hikers stumbled upon an odd print and possible pair of dens that some people suspect could be evidence of a Sasquatch in that area. That's crazy. New York. If you've ever read any of Whitley Strieber's books, there's all kinds of crazy stuff he encountered in those woods. I thought that was very strange. All right, so in Michigan, there's a restaurant who has enlisted ghosts to help with everything, basically. The social distancing law has made it almost impossible for people to eat together. So, a recently reopened Italian restaurant in Michigan has come up with a clever way of adhering to social distancing guidelines by enlisting ghosts to fill in tables between customers. So they have these ghosts in this restaurant. It's eerie as hell. Go to coasttocoastam.com and look at these stories. It's really crazy. So every table has a ghost on it, or at the table. It's very odd. It's just like the white sheets. One has like glasses on over the sheets. It's kind of cute. And a little mustache that looks like drawn on. But that's clever, you know. I don't know how good at conversation they'd be, but it's a very interesting idea, for sure. All right. Researchers that have been studying strange fossilized footprints theorize that the intriguing tracks were made by ancient creatures that resembled bipedal crocodiles. Well, that's really scary. There was an argument among ghost hunters that led to stabbing. Authorities in Arkansas say that the conclusion of a late-night ghost hunt turned ugly when one of the spirit seekers allegedly stabbed his fellow investigator of the unknown. That's crazy. Maybe a ghost made him do it. Strange rumble rocks an Indian village. Residents of a village in India were literally shaken when a man digging a well inadvertently unleashed an enormous rumble, which rocked the entire community for an hour. Well, I hope they're testing it for radon and other various forms of gas. He might have just unleashed something he didn't mean to. It's kind of crazy. A bizarre mystery. Whoops, sorry. It just disappeared from my site. Oh, goodness, I don't even know what happened. That's weird. It's so funny. All of a sudden, the rest of the page is just gone. Here you go with the Mercury Retrograde stuff again. Now it's not letting me go. All right. This is so strange. It's like suddenly I don't even know what happened. That's so strange. Oh, here we go. I didn't even touch it. I just had to go back on the page. I just had to go back one, even though I didn't touch anything. Very odd, right? Oh, Mercury Retrograde. It gets me every time. Dag nabbit. Alright, well, this is a really funny one. A mischievous pickle prankster puzzles New Jersey neighborhood. A bizarre mystery has gripped a neighborhood in New Jersey, as residents say that some mischievous individual has been leaving pickles all over the place. Well, I think we might have to read this article because it's too hilarious. So, let's see where he's been. According to a local media report, the strangeness began in the town of Bound Brook a few months ago when people began noticing gherkins appearing in their yards and their driveways. However, it wasn't until recently that one of the homeowners began comparing stories and realized there was a pickle prankster afoot. They said, "I've seen large pickles smushed in the street. I've had pickles in my yard," declared residents Jill Suppose. That's her name, is Suppose, Supposs. Lamenting that everybody gets pickled. It's crazy. That's hilarious. Pickled is another word for drunk. So, if you're not from the U.S. and you don't know that. So, everyone gets pickled means not only that people are leaving pickles at their doorstep, but also getting pickled means drunk. So, that's kind of funny. Everybody gets pickled. It's crazy. Her gherkin concerns were echoed by Lynn Johnson, who was initially confused by the cucumber in her yard until she was clued into the caper unfolding in the community. "I shared my story with my neighbors," she said, And they mentioned that our neighborhood was getting pickled. I couldn't believe it. Whomever's behind the spree seems to have no shortage of the sandwich sides, as one resident revealed that his house had been hit probably 6 or 7 times. And just randomly. Pickles on the grass, one on the porch. As of now, no one's quite sure why the gherkins keep appearing, nor who's leaving them throughout the neighborhood. Although one theory bandied about is that this individual is simply not a fan of pickles, and after buying their lunch, tosses them away. Should that be the case, the person might want to watch their aim, lest a pickle go astray, and they wind up on the wrong side of the law. Well, that was a dumb ending to that article. Oh my god. This is fun. Residents of a village in India were literally shaken when a man digging a well inadvertently unleashed an enormous rumble, which rocked the community for an hour. And they just say, strange rumble rocks Indian village. Sounds like it might be an earthquake, but if they're not used to them, it's kind of odd. Watch as police investigate haunted playground equipment in India. A bizarre video from India shows a group of police officers in India seemingly investigating a piece of playground equipment that is moving on its own. That's really, really creepy. And it has a bunch of policemen scratching their heads. That's crazy. Alright, well, I think that's about it for tonight. The rest of it is just... Oh, actually, there's one last one, and this is where we're going to end it. Oh, and by the way, there was another thing I wanted to tell you guys. Somebody has been throwing pickles. A totally different community. This guy got in trouble for throwing a pickle at a highway patrolman as he rode down the freeway. I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, I mean, can you imagine coming home after a hard day's work and telling your wife, yeah, the weirdest thing happened to me. I got hit in the head by a pickle while at work. I mean, that's so strange. All right. I'm trying to find this pizza mystery. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. The website keeps, again with the Mercury Retrograde stuff. All right. Okay, Coast to Coast. You can look these up at coasttocoastam.com. They always have fun articles, lots of pictures. Here we go. This story was in one of the rotating pictures, and there's like 10 pictures, like a carousel, and I kept trying to get back to it, and it wasn't letting me. All right. This is something I thought about doing when I was a teenager and very immature still. I was thinking that I could get back at someone for having my car towed repeatedly. It cost me hundreds of dollars, and I was going to start having things delivered to his house. Like pizza or Playboy. I don't know. It's like it'd be worth it to pay $100 just to embarrass him and make his wife mad, but I never did do it. I always have really great revenge plots in my head, but I don't let them play out in the real world. I mean, it's karma. It'll just come back to me, bite me in the ass. So I just always usually let it go. All right. A pizza stalker plagues a Belgian man in a bizarre story out of Belgium. a beleaguered man claims that some nefarious individual has been ordering countless pizzas to be delivered to his home for the last 9 years. Wow. According to a local media report, the strangeness began back in 2011 when a delivery driver appeared at Jean van Landegham's door with the whole load of pizzas that he never requested. The man soon learned that the incident was an opening act in what has been becoming a living nightmare. By the way, the article is by Tim Vinall. Wanted to give him credit before I continue. Since that fateful day, Van Landeghem says a seemingly endless stream of pizzas, as well as other delivery items like kebabs and pitas, have been ordered to his home by the dedicated miscreant who clearly has a grudge against him. The visits from restaurant workers, unaware that they've been caught up in an elaborate ruse, occur at all hours of the day and the night, he lamented. And one incident in particular saw 10 different delivery drivers show up at the same time. Oh my God. While the individual responsible for the sinister campaign is likely filled with ill-gotten glee, Von Landeghem is understandably tormented by their actions. I cannot sleep anymore. I start shaking every time I hear a scooter on the street, he revealed. I dread that someone will come to drop off hot pizzas yet another time. Almost as annoyed by the entire affair are local restaurants who have been forced to eat the cost, pun intended, eat the cost, of the faux orders time after time. Strangely enough, Van Landeghem revealed that one of his friends, who lives in a nearby town, has also been on the receiving end of the proverbial pizza stalker. Whoa, for the last 9 years, which would seem to indicate that someone they know is behind this series of deliveries. Unfortunately, attempts to get help from local authorities have proven futile, leaving the frustrated homeowner to declare, I can't take it anymore. When I find out whoever has been bothering me for the past 9 years, it will not be their best day. So there we have it. So, crazy stuff, right? Crazy stuff. All right, guys, I just feel this cosmic nap thing energy coming on. I mean, I slept enough. I had enough sleep today. Woke up early in the morning, went back to bed, got up at noon. I had plenty of rest. This wouldn't be happening unless it's being bombarded by this ascension energy symptoms, cosmic radiation, and the like. So I'm going to go. We're supposed to be getting hit tomorrow and the next day, all weekend long, by cosmic radiation and solar winds. So just take it easy this weekend, guys. Just enjoy life. Take it easy a little bit. Do one small step to fulfill your dreams every day, but it's a weekend, so you can relax a little bit. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the week. I'm gonna go, but I want to let you know that thank you for always listening to the show, and those of you who are new, you've started to listen for the past couple weeks or so. I just wanted to let you know that I love you. I love all of you, each and every one of you. And if it wasn't for you, I would not even have a podcast. So very, very grateful. We are coming up on Monday. Will be 2 weeks before the People's Choice Podcast Awards open up for nominations. So if you want to mark your calendar for the 1st of July, that would be awesome for me. If you want to go ahead and do that and vote for me for the best spiritual podcast if you think I deserve it. Anyway, besides that, I hope you guys have a wonderful and happy and restful weekend. Maybe one of the days could be a spa day for you. That's always fun. Saturdays were spa days. In my household, when my kids were little, we would just sit around and I taught them how to massage their feet with acupressure. And it was time to do lotion and do extra conditioner for our hair. We had a lot of fun. I loved when the kids were little and they wanted to do spa day. It was super, super fun. Anyway, maybe you can make a spa day for yourself this weekend. So that's it. I will be back on Monday with all unique and original programming, just like always. And that's it for now. I'm about to fall asleep, so I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.